gentlemen, welcome to another exciting episode of The Devil's Due. I am your host, Carl Duty. Court is now in session. With me, as always, is my esteemed co-counsel and co-host, the only man who has ever outwitted LaFleur's and destroyed a stage in a mall, Mr. Drew Celestino.
Sock full of quarters.
Sock full of quarters, man.
Took him right out.
That's the key to a plan. And don't put it in his hand.
No.
Crack him upside the dome with it.
Exactly that.
How you doing, sir?
I am well, sir.
We got a big, great show for you. Landmark show.
A lot of good things happened.
Yeah, a lot of good things. Really exciting weekend for us. You're getting, folks, we're doubling down because, like I said, we were gone last week. We apologize. We had a holiday. We took a holiday.
We had a holiday. There was something else that happened that I kind of sprung on you late, but that's
yeah. No, it's okay.
We'll talk about that.
But we're making it up to you this week because you're getting not one but two episodes of The Devil's Due.
There will be another episode dropping later after this one.
Later in the week.
Yes.
So, and that is an episode that we had for our Star Wars Bison's Star Wars Baseball Night.
Yes.
Do that every time. So we hope you guys will enjoy that. But it's business as usual here on this episode.
Well, it's business as usual, but let's not bury the lead. Today you get not just us, but you get us and special guest star, kinda, Mr. Kevin Smith.
Yes.
This happened.
This happened.
We hoped it would happen. We weren't sure if it was going to happen.
I'm just going to say, be bold, and good things happen.
You took a shot, sir, and you nailed it.
And we will get to that story before we get to that section.
Yep.
This episode,
it is in this episode, so if you're waiting for it, it is there.
If this episode was a cover of a comic book, it would be, The Devil Due meets Kevin Smith.
Sure. And
All right. So, that aside, very possible we have some new listeners.
I hope so.
This week. I hope so. If you're new to the show, welcome. We appreciate you giving us a shot, and we hope we deliver the goods for you. That being said, let's get to our opening statements. Drew.
Yes.
How was your week, sir?
It's been 2 weeks.
It's been 2 weeks.
But I'm going to keep it tight.
Toit.
It's been well, sir. I couldn't, if I think really hard about it, I could tell you what was going on, but then let's cut right to the chase. The reason why we didn't have a show last week isn't so much because we weren't ready to have one, but I told Carl.
I was already having.
Yeah, Carl's ready. I neglected to tell him that I had tickets to go see Tool on our recording night.
Yes.
So, unfortunately, schedules that dictated that we could not record. But I got to see Tool for the first time in 15 years. And
years with a Z.
Yeah, that's been that long. And they were excellent.
Good show?
Great show.
You are one of numerous friends of mine who either saw them in Rochester or saw them in Toronto.
Yeah, a lot of people
everybody enjoyed it.
They're fantastic, dude. And I'm a little disappointed that they're not out supporting a new record. It's been 11 years since 10,000 Days came out. But any chance I can get to see them, because it is getting kind of rare, I'll take. And they were great. They sounded fantastic. Performances were great across the board, and they're a great, amazing band. And I think if I haven't said it before, like around the time when I saw Metallica a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
These opportunities that you get to see bands, things like that, take them, because as we unfortunately learned with like Chris Cornell.
Yeah.
You never know what's going to happen in life. So if you have the opportunity to indulge that passion. There's a meme going around the internet. As a musician, I see it a lot, and it's apropos. Life's too short. Buy the damn concert tickets. So anyway, saw Tool. They were fantastic. I could gripe it a little bit, and I will, just so I can get it out in the open.
Like you are to do.
Like I do. But again, critical eye on things. So here's the thing. Like my drummer, for instance, he is like 22. Okay. I'm 35. Okay. For him, this was his first Tool show. When I last saw Tool, he was 7 years old. Okay. He loves Tool.
You're not making me feel any younger, seeing as I'm almost 40.
That's fine.
Year.
But you'll appreciate this then. But my point being is that I saw Tool when he was 7. This was his first Tool show.
Yep.
for him, this was mind-bendingly awesome. And it was a great show. For me, having seen them 15 years ago and paying twice as much as I paid last time, by the way, their show, the screens, the stage presentation, all of it, basically, was exactly the same as it was 15 years ago.
Ooh.
So, now their videos, if you are, a Tool, if you're at all familiar with Tool, you'll know that their videos are really messed up and disturbing and, never dull. So you're getting stimuli. Don't get me wrong. But again,
if you've seen it before,
it was the same basic show as they've been doing forever. So, me, again, a couple weeks ago, Metallica.
Yep.
Metallica, every time I go see them, and I'm in the teens, folks, new stage, new show. New production every tour. And, I guess I'm getting spoiled by that, where it's like exciting and, different. And Tool was just kind of like, oh, yeah, they did this last time too. Because, unfortunately, they're not the most active, physical performance on stage. They're pretty chill.
Did you know going into it was going to be the same show?
I did not know.
Oh, okay.
I'm not surprised. I'm just a little let down.
Had you known, would you still have gone?
I still would have gone.
Okay.
Absolutely. Like I said, take these opportunities when they arise. But that's me having seen them before, nitpicking. So take that with a grain of salt because they were fantastic, and I will not. I don't want to undersell that. They were great.
It's kind of like when a classic movie comes back to theaters. Like when we went and saw Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
You know what Ghostbusters is. You could not pay the $10, just pop it in your DVD player and watch Ghostbusters. But there's the experience.
Exactly. It's exactly that. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So anyway, that was great, and that was the main reason why we did not record last week. Aside from that, pretty chill. It's been interesting. Our game nights have been a little limited, but
we have not done a game night in the past 2 weeks.
Well, there's that then.
2 weeks ago was because you guys still did a game night, but you were feeling sick, and I didn't want to take a chance.
Yeah, don't do that thing.
Because William just got over a cold. My 1 year and change old son.
I'm still getting. I'm over it, but
you're still feeling.
It lingered, man.
Yeah. So I didn't want to take a chance, and then last week you have a different monthly dinner and game night.
The Bizarro game night.
Bizarro.
No, I don't mean it like that, but like it's Group A and Group B, and it's like you're cheating on me with game night. But we do it every month with these people, so they're great. They're great friends. So but we never really combine the game night because, as we know. So most of these games we play are like 2 to 5 players only. Yeah. They don't even couple up well most of the time.
Like for a decent game night,
you get into 8 players, you're done.
Yeah, there is six players is kind of the max.
Yeah,
5 players is the sweet spot.
Yeah,
6 players is the max.
12 milkmen is normal. 13 would be suspicious. Oh, I hope some of you get that. Anyway. But in light of that, a lot of Mario Kart's been going on.
Yeah.
Oh, on those nights. Oh, I love Mario Kart. I love what Mario Kart brings out in my wife, especially.
Really?
Yes.
She does Mario Kart have the same effect on her that Monopoly has on my wife?
I don't know how Julie does with Monopoly, but Mario Kart a string of expletives.
Yep. Same thing.
Will fly out of her mouth, man. It is the best.
Yeah,
it's great. It's amazing.
You know my wife, sweet as the driven snow.
I'm convinced your wife never swears ever.
Oh, play Monopoly with her. Play Monopoly with her.
This you're going to shatter my world with this information.
You would think you're watching a Dennis Leary special.
Oh my God!
If things don't go her way, it's.
You're shattering my image of her right now.
Wow. And I still think she has a level she hasn't gone to. Maybe even Kinnison.
Oh my God. Anyway, oh my God, dude. I crossed the 140-hour mark in Zelda.
And how much closer are you to actually beating the main game?
I'm this much closer. No,
Folks, for those of you, because it's an audio medium, Drew just held his thumb and his index finger about maybe less than an inch apart from each other.
To be fair, I have unlocked the last area of the map. I'm honestly at the point where I'm kind of filling things out. I know exactly what's left to do.
You're getting ready to make your end run.
Yes, but that end run might take 30 hours. but now it's like, okay, this is what there is now. So that's what's up, man. That's what's going on.
Awesome.
How about you? What's going on?
Okay, me. For the week that we didn't record, the big news of that week was so exciting, but still enjoyable. New appliances.
Hey.
Yep.
Grown-up stuff.
New stove, new dishwasher. Thank you, child income tax return. Appreciate it. So yeah, did that. Bought them on Memorial Day. Kind of hell of a deal. $700 off, like combined, both of them. So that was good. Excuse me. So that was the kind of, there wasn't a lot happening that week. This past week, Friday night, as we mentioned, I didn't, because you did your Bizarro game night, and I was okay with not going that because Tekken 7 came in the mail. So for those of you who are new to the show, I am a huge fighting game fan, as Drew is a huge Nintendo fan. So I was very excited to get my hands on Tekken 7, and not having played a Tekken game since Tekken 4, and just having played almost exclusively Street Fighter since then, some different games here and there, it's jarring to jump back into Tekken.
Totally different game than Street Fighter.
It's a totally different game than Street Fighter, even though there's a Street Fighter character, Akuma, in this one, and that word is going to pop up again later in this episode, folks.
Okay.
The motion of the characters, how the characters move and everything, seems much more rigid than I remember from previous Tekkens. I remember previous Tekkens being very fluid in the characters' motions. This one just seems kind of like stuttery, more rigid. But again, haven't played since Tekken 4, and there have been a ton of Tekken games since then.
Sure.
Still just kind of is got gobs of content in it. Everybody's learning from Capcom's mistake with Street Fighter V.
Where they piecemealed it?
Yeah, between Injustice 2 and Tekken 7, both of those games are just stuffed with content.
The only reason I know of Tekken 7, and I'm kind of like, I want to hear more about it. I'm not going to lie. The only reason why is because somehow, some way, New Japan Pro Wrestling got really cool stuff put into the game as DLC and as costumes and stuff. So you have the Bullet Club T-shirt.
Bullet Club T-shirt.
Oh my god, that alone is like super cool. And then there's like 3 pieces, I believe, of Rainmaker outfit for Okada.
Yep.
You can get his robe, a mask of some kind, or something like that.
I'm not sure of what they are.
From what I read, if you can wear all of his full getup, you can also do the Rainmaker finisher maneuver in the game. Dude, that's amazing.
I will make sure to get all that stuff.
I want to see it
for next time you come over.
It even does the camera pan back when he does the Rainmaker pose. I know this because I saw a video and I got really excited.
So yeah, did that. The online is experiencing some problems, like a lot of fighting games do when they first come out. Matchmaking is kind of hit and miss, so they're going to fix that. But I'm just kind of like rediscovering the series and going through just the standard arcade battle, selecting different characters, seeing who I want to kind of main and learn, and so. But yeah, it's really enjoyable.
Cool.
The only nitpick I really have against it is, even though the game is gorgeous, the game's been out for 2 years in Japan.
Really?
Yes, it's been out for 2 years. So the graphics look just slightly dated.
How are
you can tell they've been like polished up, and it looks nice. I'm not saying it looks bad, but you could tell they're 2-year-old graphics.
Wow. Okay. How was it 2 years old? Was it in the arcades for 2 years?
Yeah, it was in the arcades for 2 years.
Oh, okay.
Now it's like they did it old school.
All right.
With the game's release.
I was going to say, nowadays,
yeah.
what's the point of arcade games? But Japan.
Well, in Japan,
yeah,
arcades still thrive.
What a world.
Yep, there was that. Over the course of the past 2 weeks, I've been fortunate to play a lot more X-Wing.
Oh.
Building squads, having a blast with that.
I'm expecting most of your house now to be compiled of X-Wing ships. Now,
I'm organized. They're in a tackle box.
I'm not saying they're not organized. I know it's growing.
It's growing.
One box is going to become two.
No.
You shot that down pretty quick. I don't know.
I don't think there's enough ships out there for one box to become two.
Wow.
Like, I'm almost done with purchasing the Rebel and Imperial factions.
Oh.
And then it's going to be move on to the Scum and Villainy faction.
Well, there's a second box, Brian.
No. God, no.
Okay.
That's like another tray in the tackle box I have. So
Fair enough.
Yeah. So we've been playing that. A lot of fun playing with my friend Adam and playing at Collector's Inn on their X-Wing night. Great group of guys. They were very welcoming, very helpful, really enjoyable. Joe on sometime in the show, promote his shop. It's a nice little shop.
Cool.
So there was that. We have started out the Cry It Out process with William.
Ah.
And it's going surprisingly well.
That's
Each night,
that's
he's
good.
gotten quicker and quicker falling asleep. So that's cool. Last thing for my weeks, which would have occurred last night, went and saw Wonder Woman.
Ah.
Now, for those of you who are new to the podcast, Drew and I typically refer to the DC Cinematic Universe as a dumpster fire.
It has been.
Because it has been a dumpster fire between what has been happening behind the scenes and what eventually ends up on the screen.
Yes.
I also want to say we want these films to be good.
The better they are, the better geek culture is.
Yes.
The more fun we can all have. And not for nothing, because Marvel obviously doing very well. We want them to continue to do well, and the only way, and take it from me as a wrestling fan, I've explained this before, stagnation, monopoly, if you will, leads to stagnation.
Yes.
So if they have no
breeds
competition,
quality.
yes, if they have nothing to fear and no one nipping at their heels to kind of remind them they got to step the game up, they will get complacent.
Yes.
So I want both of them to be bringing their A game all the time. We
Yes.
all win then.
Yep. So not going to have a full-blown discussion on the film because you said you want to go see it.
I will go see it.
You've gone to see it. I will say
I have
this.
not seen it yet. You have seen it.
It's good.
Okay.
It's not good by DC film standards. It's good by Marvel standards.
Wow. You're singing some high praise here.
Yeah, and this is how I feel about it. I think you might feel differently.
Okay.
But, that's why we have this show to
Sure.
talk about our opinions. I'm not going to say that DC has fixed itself because we still have Justice League to come.
Sure do.
This was the first post-Heavy Snyder influence film. This is more Jeff Johns than it was Snyder.
Okay.
And then Justice League is still going to be like Snyder.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
Now that with the unfortunate passing of his daughter, him leaving the movie, and Joss Whedon of all people stepping in, I wonder how much. I don't know how much they can do or how much they even ask him to do, but given the success of Wonder Woman, I don't know, man. I wonder if behind closed doors they're not like, fix this,
please,
make this better. I don't know. We'll see.
I'm not going to say DC has fully righted the ship, but they've stopped the bleeding.
Okay, all right.
The film is really good. It stumbles in the third act.
I've heard that. That's what I've heard.
But it doesn't kill the movie.
Okay.
Like the main villain of the film is Ares, and he's ultimately a little underwhelming. And his reveal was kind of you saw coming a mile away.
Okay, all right.
But again, that's something Marvel struggles with as well.
Sure. By rep, the villain problem. Yeah.
I've said numerous times, I'm an easy cry. I rolled tears.
Wow.
When she gets up, I will say this, for an origin, it is the best paced origin superhero film ever.
Better than even like Iron Man and
the pacing of it.
Okay.
It's fantastic.
Wow.
Because that big battle you see in the previews on the beach, that's in the first 20 minutes of the film.
Wow.
Yeah.
cutting right to the chase.
They cut out a lot of fat you would expect, and we've seen a lot in origin stories.
Sure.
The scene when she gets up out of the trench and goes into that's like the first fully realized as Wonder Woman scene you get, and it's freaking amazing.
Okay.
And I'm just like rolling a tear. I'm like, this is everything that makes superheroes great. Why we love this mythology.
It's like, where has this been?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so I really enjoyed it. I hope you will enjoy it.
We'll see. I'm certainly more receptive to it than I would have been otherwise. So based on all accounts, it's good. So that gives me some relief going in to see.
Yeah. And I love the fact that it's good not by DC standards.
Well, the bar is so low.
Yeah. So it's not good by those standards. It's just a good
It's just good.
film.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I hope it's not just an outlier for them and that this is their opportunity to kind of pick up in the pieces and go, okay, let's do more of that and less of the grim, dark, murder, death, kill, save Martha nonsense. Let's throw all that away.
I'm expecting, like, Justice League's kind of going to be even though Joss is involved, it's
how much can he really do?
A little bit of a regression from what Wonder Woman established, but I think I'm hopeful for after Justice League.
We'll see. We will see. So we can hope.
I think that was pretty much it for my 2 weeks. Again, if you decide to go see Wonder Woman, we'll have a much more expansive conversation on that.
Sure.
But again, really good. Go see it, folks.
All right.
Really enjoyable. That being said, it is time. Well, hold on.
Oh.
I almost moved off ceremony. Folks, if you're new to the show, welcome. We appreciate you joining us. We would love to hear from you. We're about to get into a section we call cross-examination, in which we answer questions listeners send in. We would love to hear from you if you have any questions that you'd like us to answer on the show, if you have any suggestions for the show, or if you'd like to find us on social media. These are all the places you can do that. You can find us on Twitter at Devils Do Pod. You can go to facebook.com/DevilsDoPod. You can email us at thedevilsdopod@gmail.com, or you can find all these resources on our website, thedevilsdopodcast.com. That being said, Drew, it's time for some cross-examination.
Okay.
Now, remind me, in case I forget, we have some questions that were submitted on Facebook this week.
Yes, they were.
Make sure I don't forget that. Because typically our questions come in email. We'll take the questions any way we can get them. But first question is from this came in 2 weeks ago. It's from Adam, and he asks for Drew.
Yes, sir.
What are your top 3 favorite games on the Wii?
On the original Wii?
Yeah, he just says Wii. He doesn't say Wii U.
So I got to think back now. Then Metroid
Wii
Prime.
Only had like 2 games. So
the Wii?
Wii U.
More than that, but you're not
too
totally
far
wrong. Still though, those 2 were great. For the Wii, oh wow, okay. Super Mario Galaxy 1 or 2, take your pick. I lean towards 2. The first one had they were still kind of going with some of the motion control stuff, a little bit more heavy. Yep. And, as we all know, that can be really hit and miss, especially back in the Wii days when the controls were not as tight as they are now. They've refined that technology much, 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 much better now, but it was still a little wonky. And so in Galaxy 2, they kind of removed all that and just made it a straight-up amazing Mario 3D game. So there's one. Metroid Prime 3, for sure. One of the Metroid Prime series is fantastic. I'm a big Metroid nerd, so that's an easy one for me. Third, I played so many games for the Wii, so this is kind of hard to say. You've got Resident Evil 4, the whatever edition they call it, but at the time, the Wii edition, I guess they would call it. But with the Wii controls, with the motion aiming, oh my god, dude, that game was amazing like that. It was, you could headshot everything so easily. It just made the game so much fun. So that, the remake of Punch-Out was fantastic. God, there was a lot of games for the Wii. Actually, I have to go check my library. I have a huge, massive library. Skyward Sword, Zelda. For it does take some justifiable beatings for some of the things that are wrong with it, but it's still a fantastic game. It was fun actually, and it didn't get a lot of play, but it was actually a really fun game. Steven Spielberg made it. It was a game called Boom Blocks. Steven Spielberg made a video game.
I think I remember you showing me that game.
You set up it's these big courses, and you throw with the control. Throw like bombs at various strategic points in these maps, and it's like dominoes meets bombs, and like you blow up certain portions of the map, and like there's certain blocks you hit with the bomb, and when they explode, they do like chemical splatter, so they do like you can do spread damage and things like that. Fun game, very fun game, believe it or not. Yeah, that's that. And any iteration of Animal Crossing that might have been on the Wii was great. Animal Crossing is amazing. I love Animal Crossing.
I don't understand the attraction of Animal Crossing.
It's great.
I live life. I go to work.
You can live another one.
I don't have to play Animal Crossing to work. I don't want to work in my
You don't have to
games.
work. You can you decorate your house. I have a robot room.
I've got a real house to decorate.
But does it have a robot room?
I can make a robot room, yes.
But did you? Have you?
No, because I don't have the desire for a robot room.
Well, I do, and I have one in Animal Crossing. And it's great.
All right. This question for me is a little outdated. It says, Carl, when will you stop mercilessly beating me in X-Wing? He did snap his losing streak against me one night, so there you go.
All right.
For both of you.
Yes.
Would you ever consider doing in-depth walkthroughs of older Marvel movies like Iron Man, Captain America, and the like?
Sure.
It says, cheers and happy gaming. Yeah, definitely. Because as you know, we have some downtime in between seasons that we do. We like to just do a couple one-off episodes. So that's always a possibility for one of those episodes.
At some point, we're going to be out of Marvel shows to talk about. Although, without getting too far ahead of ourselves.
Coming up on the news.
Might not be anytime soon. But no, I would like to maybe do a Marvel film here or there. It ties into our own show with given our main content here being Daredevil related. And I'm a huge Cap nerd, so anytime you want to talk about Cap, I'll talk about Cap.
Yep.
So anyway.
All right.
It could happen.
Yep. So, Adam, thank you for your questions. We appreciate it. Next question is from longtime listener, Mr. Tom Fenzel. Hey, guys, missed you at Star Wars Night. I hope Kevin Smith was fun. Tom, we're sorry we missed you, too. And, yes, Kevin Smith was fun, as you'll see coming up later in this episode. Just one question from Tom. What are you guys watching on Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu that you recommend?
You want to go first?
No, you go ahead.
I don't watch a ton of stuff, as you know. It's kind of a theme on the show, is I don't have a lot of time, unfortunately. So if you haven't watched Better Call Saul, I will tell you to watch Better Call Saul. If you haven't watched Breaking Bad before it, I'd probably recommend you watch that first, though it's not necessarily mandatory, but it sure does help. So I know the first 2 seasons of Better Call Saul are on Netflix. It's a great show. I like it as much, maybe more sometimes, than Breaking Bad. Season 3 is currently happening on AMC, and I love it. Television writing this good, this tight, without waste, that trusts viewers to have an attention span and not talk down to them. I respect so much because the show respects me. I love it. It's the best written television going. Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad before it. Doesn't waste your time, trusts that you're going to pay attention, and delivers every time. And it's tight. Nothing is wasted. Everything means something, and the performances are excellent. It's fantastic stuff. So anyway, that's one show. I don't watch much else these days. I would like to, but I unfortunately just don't have the time or the willpower. Theater. But yes, on Netflix you now have access to the new Mystery Science Theater as well as some old ones. They list the old ones as season 1. Don't be fooled by that though. It's a collection, so it's just various episodes from the 10-year run of the show. So it's not season 1. It's just
best of.
It's a best of collection. So they're from all over the 10 years. But oh my God, there's so much content there. So go nuts with Mystery Science Theater. But if you do like Mystery Science Theater, the new one really is great. I love it. I love it to death. I'm so happy it's back. That's really all I'm watching right now, man.
For me on Netflix, I'm currently going through the new season of House of Cards. Normally a really big fan of the show. This season is still good, but they're coming awfully close to jumping the shark.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So definitely recommend House of Cards. New series I discovered, an animated series done by Bill Burr called F is for Family.
Mm-hmm.
Hysterical.
All right.
So funny. It's kind of like when Family Guy was funny and if they weren't censored.
Okay.
It's set in the 70s and it's really, really funny. The second season just premiered. Half-hour episodes. First season was only like 6 or 7 episodes, so you can get through it pretty quickly. As far as Amazon Prime, I would always recommend Man in the High Castle.
That's what I keep hearing.
Fantastic series. Also, the wife and I have been meaning to start the last season of Orphan Black that just got put on Amazon Prime. Orphan Black, BBC show. If you have not seen it, watch it. It's one of the best shows going on television. So yeah, that's what I got.
I should have noted also in the past week I started watching the new Twin Peaks.
Oh
boy. I don't know if I can recommend this to anyone, but
not good.
No, it's wow. Okay, so like Twin Peaks is
you can't watch it not having originally seen Twin Peaks.
Well, you can.
Original.
It's detached enough because it's 25 years later.
Yeah,
but I got to tell you, I watched the original, and it's new. It's very different than the original, but the original had soap opera trappings, which were intentional. So it was very self-aware, and it was a kind of almost a satire of a soap opera in a way, with like really weird, dark underpinnings because it's David Lynch. Now it's just like the weird, dark underpinnings. It's twisted, dude. It's weird.
Cool.
They've doubled down on the weird. So I'm just going to warn you. I'm going to tell you to check it out. But just know going in, it's really weird. Yeah. So if you're not ready for it, I don't blame you. Even I'm on the fence. But it's weird. It's very weird.
Nice.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Horrifying at parts, too. It's very freaky.
Tom, thank you very much for your questions. We always appreciate it.
Yes.
Now on to the Cagney and Lacey of the Devil's Due. For those of you who are new to the show, we have 2 gentlemen who we can count on almost every week to send us questions. Mr. J. Gelsomino and Mr. Alan Waiters.
They had a contest.
They did have a contest.
We had a World Series.
World Series. Who asked the better question?
We had prizes. This could be you, folks.
It was legitimate.
Yeah.
Starting out, we will go with Jay because Jay emailed his question. Alan was the Facebook questions.
All right. Bring it.
So, Carl and Drew.
Yes.
If you got stuck in the middle of nowhere with only 3 seashells, who do you trust the most to get you out of this situation? Rob Schneider, Associate Bob, or Dennis Leary?
Unfortunately, I'm in the desert. I have 3 seashells.
Yep.
I got to go Rob Schneider. He knows how to use them.
I'm going to go Dennis Leary.
He's
because he's going to know how to use them and have more survival techniques.
Does he, though? He's kind of old school.
I'm guessing.
But he is from the new era.
He is probably more inclined to figure it out than we are and has better chance of surviving than Rob Schneider.
You're not wrong. I changed my answer.
All right.
In Leary we trust.
Cool.
When he's not ripping off Bill Hicks. Love Dennis Leary, but...
Love him.
But... Anyway.
Jay's question for me. I should preface this question by saying this past week I completed a 30-day sugar purge.
Ooh, congratulations.
And I had about 98% success ratio on that. There were a couple events that Julie and I got invited to where I felt it would be rude not to partake. But I didn't do any like desserts or anything. It was just some white bread that had processed sugar in it. Other than that, 30 days in the books.
Drop any weight?
I didn't. It wasn't for a purpose of dropping weight. It was just a purpose to see if I could
do it.
Yeah.
Are you gonna stick with it?
I celebrated last night at the theaters. I got like pretzel bites and the new caramel M&Ms, which are freaking fantastic. But like, I'm not going. Excuse me. I'm not going like full bore back. I'm being conscious to cut out a lot of.
That's good.
A lot of crap. So Jay asks, I too have now tried to give up the evil that is processed sugar. I've had 0 Kickstart energy drinks in almost 2 weeks and no Arnold Palmer in over 1.
That's big for Jay. Not going to lie.
He does like the Arnold Palmers.
Yes, indeed.
The fact that the city hasn't burned like it was Devil's Night and Top Dollar gave me matches and gasoline is a small miracle. What have you used to substitute besides water? I've tried coffee for the first time ever to get some caffeine. It all tastes like a combo of the brim of Quinn's hat with a hint of Brody spit and Hooper's goggles.
We got to get Jay on some good coffee.
Yeah.
Carl and I like the coffee.
Yes.
You got to get some good coffee.
Yes.
Stick with us. We'll get you there.
Yeah. Coffee we can help you with. What I found worked was, obviously you get tired of water a lot of times. Water with lemon and lime juice.
That can help.
In it
There's
really
still
good.
There's still sugar in that, but natural sugar.
Yeah, it's natural sugar is fine.
Honestly,
the question is for me, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have some advice too, but go on. No, I'm sorry. Your question.
The other thing I found helped was the Mios, the water flavoring things.
Yes, I use that for my.
Yeah, there's no processed sugar in those, and they're fantastic.
I use those in my my protein drinks because I don't.
You don't like the taste of chalk?
No. The other thing I could say is, when I first did Atkins back in the day, 10 years ago now maybe, you just kind of get in. You get used to diet soda and things like that. I know if you're not used to it, it's jarring, but it doesn't that doesn't last long. You get over that real quick. But then eventually, if you're like, what happened to me is I just eventually kicked that too. And now all I drink, dude, is water, coffee, and beer. That's all I have. That's it. I don't drink anything else.
The triangle.
It's great. Beautiful triad. A lot of sugar in beer though.
So definitely, if you're not big on lemon and lime juice, Mios. Grab a bunch of those. And there's a wide variety. They have a wide selection. Drew.
Yeah?
Let's say all the execs at Fox get smallpox and die.
Okay.
You now get control of the Fantastic Four franchise, and no, you cannot just sell the rights back to Marvel.
Damn it.
Who do you cast as the core group and the major villains? However, there's always a catch. You can only use characters, not the actors, the actual characters from all the Quentin Tarantino movies. So
I need prep time
you have
for
to
these.
cast
all right, I got
Fantastic Four.
Okay.
Using characters from the Quentin Tarantino movies.
Marcellus Wallace can be the Thing.
Okay.
Actually, hang on. I got to take that back. All right. I'm sorry, Marcellus. I love you, but you got to go away for a minute.
Yep.
No. The main boss in Reservoir Dogs, the old guy. I can't think of his name. I'm a bad fan.
Old gruff guy. I know what you're talking about there.
He's the Thing. You know how I know that? Because Tim Roth says it in the movie. The Thing. He's just like the Thing. There you go. Who am I to argue with Tim Roth? Uma Thurman would make a very weird Sue Storm.
Sue Storm, the bride. Yep.
A very violent bride, or very violent Sue Storm, but it visually it works. So I guess we could go there.
Okay.
Mr. Fantastic.
Vincent Vega. I'm stretching. It's so weird.
It's so weird. It's so weird. I'm stretching.
Look at my arm.
No, let me think here. Using
Butch.
He's a little too gruff to be Mr. Fantastic. I need someone that's very smart. Wow, that's tough. Tarantino flicks are not necessarily known for the smart guys.
Yeah.
How about work with me here.
Okay.
Michael Fassbender from Inglourious Bastards could be Mr. Fantastic.
Alrighty.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Diane Kruger.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. You see, your instinct is always to go Pulp Fiction, but no, Bastards has a phenomenal cast in there. Johnny Storm, the German kid, he played the Nazi sniper.
Well, you said
he was also
don't go all Pulp Fiction.
He was also Zemo. But he's good. He's good. I like him in that movie. He's great in that movie. He's fantastic in Inglourious Bastards. Yeah, there you go. That's
All right.
done. Oh, wait. Okay, I'm going to do...
still got Dr. Doom.
I'm going to do a Fox thing here.
Okay.
The Human Torch.
Yeah.
You know how Fox likes to, play fast and loose with casting sometimes?
Yep.
I'm going to gender bend the Human Torch.
Okay.
And Zoe Bell can play the Human Torch.
Which
Zoe Bell is the Australian actress from New Zealand. Correct. I'm sorry if I'm getting it wrong. She is the one who's on the hood of the car in Death Proof for the whole last 20 minutes of the movie.
Never saw Grindhouse.
Oh, wow. Okay. We'll talk about it later. But she's also in Hateful Eight. She has a small part in that as well.
Okay.
But she's so bubbly. She is so bubbly and delightful. I would totally cast her as the Torch.
Kurt Russell from Hateful Eight for Reed Richards?
Reed doesn't have a beard. If I'm casting Kurt Russell, I need a mustache at a minimum. If not the beard.
All right.
It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
He can play Doom. Tim Roth could also play Doom. The accent, mostly. I like accents.
Yeah.
So, Vic Vega would be a little too weird for Doom. Michael Madsen.
Jules.
Oh, he could play Doom.
He could play Doom.
Be a very insane Doom.
Yeah. Be a lot of fun.
Or Galactus. Yes. I want Jules Winfield as Galactus.
I'm just seeing Jules. Yes.
That could be a lot of fun.
Love Jules. Love Samuel.
Adds a whole new spin on Walk the Earth. Eat the Earth.
Eat the Earth. I'm just going to eat the Earth.
Uh-huh.
Like Kane. Kung Fu.
Exactly right.
All right. Jay, thank you very much for your questions. Moving on to Mr. Alan Waiters. Carl and Drew, do you think the success of Wonder Woman has brought the DC Cinematic Universe to life, or was this a complete fluke? Is there more pressure for Captain Marvel to do well since Wonder Woman was more successful than people anticipated? Like I said earlier, I think they've stopped the bleeding with Wonder Woman. I don't think the ship's completely righted yet. They haven't full pivoted yet, but they've definitely stopped the bleeding.
I'm going to take your word for that. And does it put pressure on Captain Marvel? I hope so. Honestly, I hope it does, because Marvel's kind of they're slow to the dance here with the female flicks, and they could have had a Black Widow movie now if they wanted to.
That's true.
And Captain Marvel, even like that one got pushed back. I believe it was supposed to be out sooner, and they pushed it back.
Yeah.
And
so
how serious are we here about this?
Yeah, I don't think it necessarily puts pressure on Captain Marvel, because I don't think DC's really in a position where they're putting pressure on Marvel yet with their films.
No.
But I think it will help make Captain Marvel better.
Yeah, maybe that's what I was getting at. But I hope they look at the success of Wonder Woman and go, hey, it's doable. We can do it too.
Yeah.
And maybe we should do it too. Yeah.
Carl, with the announcement of Season 2 of Luke Cage and Jessica Jones, what do you think it will take to make Iron Fist Season 2 successful? Do you think a Heroes for Hire cameo is needed for Iron Fist Season 2? I definitely think that we will have cameos in Iron Fist Season 2. A Heroes for Hire cameo would be great. A Heroes for Hire show would be even better. See, it's hard for me to say that Iron Fist isn't quote-unquote successful. It's not good. We don't really like it. But
ask me about Iron Fist.
Yeah, we're not crazy.
I am not into it.
Yeah, so I think the Heroes for Hire cameo is definitely needed in either Iron Fist Season 2 or Luke Cage Season 2. Either one.
Like I said when I saw the trailer for Defenders, just seeing the two of them together, even though I hate Iron Fist, I was like, oh my god, it's the Heroes for Hire. They're together. Look at them on screen together. I got all amped up for it. It was weird.
Alrighty, Drew.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to people when playing Mario Kart? Has it ruined any friendships?
Advice? Have fun and don't take it too seriously, because otherwise, you will end friendships and possibly marriages, because Mario Kart can get very, very, very competitive. Let's just put it that way. So just remember, it's all in fun. Don't take it too personally.
It's all fun and games till someone gets divorced.
Yeah. Yeah. Just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Just enjoy it. That's all I can say.
All right. Everyone who sent in questions, thank you very much. Those of you who are listening, please feel free to send us questions, suggestions, comments to the show. We will definitely address them on air. That being said, it is time to get to the case files, the news segment of the show. We got some news to go over, about 2 weeks worth. Starting off with the most show-relevant news, it was quietly announced that in 2018, next year, we will get Daredevil Season 3, Jessica Jones Season 2, and Luke Cage Season 2.
That's awesome. That's a lot of content for us.
Great news. Yeah, great for the show. Very happy about that. Happy about all of those. Do we think it's odd that there was no Iron Fist Season 2 announcement?
No.
Even if it was like for 2019 or...
They'll get to it. They're not... I mean, unless discussions are being had where Netflix is just like, we don't want more Marvel stuff.
Yeah, but at the same time, all of the Season 2s of like Daredevil, Jessica Jones, and Luke Cage were all announced within a week or two of Season 1's release. Iron Fist is a couple months old now.
Maybe we haven't
to hear anything.
We haven't seen it yet, but maybe Defenders redeems Iron Fist and people call out for a Season 2 and Netflix gives it to us. I don't know.
I hope they do an Iron Fist Season 2. I would really like to see them write. Like I said, I don't think we're going to see any drastic changes with the character in Defenders, because Defenders was pretty much done filming at the time Iron Fist came out.
Right.
So I would really like to see an Iron Fist Season 2 and Marvel give them a chance to kind of right the ship on that one.
Yeah, well, we'll see. But the rest, hey, man, I'm Daredevil Season 3, okay.
Yep.
More Jessica Jones, okay. More Luke Cage, okay. Make it more like the first half of the first season than the second, please.
Yeah.
But you know what you didn't say, Carl, is what else is coming out this year?
Defenders.
What else? Oh,
Defenders?
Was that not listed there?
Oh, Punisher.
November. Punisher.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Merry Christmas.
You filthy animal. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, especially after this week's episode of Daredevil.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We're going to get into all that business.
Yeah, give us some of that Frank.
Yep.
Give us some Frank.
I'm ready.
Bullets in the stockings.
I'm ready for that.
So, yeah. All right, so there's that. Next piece of news is a little old, but again, no episode last week, so we'll cover it here. My personal favorite comic book writer is Frank Miller. I'm a huge fan of the Sin City series. I've read them all. The movies, I think, are great. They're the Sin City. The first one is the second most visually beautiful film I've ever seen in my life.
What's the first?
Hero with Jet Li.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If you get a chance to watch it. It is the most visually beautiful film I've ever seen in my life.
All right.
So I was a fan of the movies, fan of the books, fan of Frank Miller. So you'd think I would be excited over this next piece of news. However, this kind of is part of a bigger conversation, an ongoing conversation, more of which you will hear in our bonus episode later this week.
Yeah.
Of the thing becoming something else from its original inception. That is that there is currently a Sin City TV series in the works.
Yeah.
Now, on one level, I can see where this kind of makes sense.
A gritty noir show every week?
Yeah, a different story every week, different characters. But at the same time, I don't need it.
Right, yeah. I
don't need it.
Yeah, who's crying out for
I'm
this?
not crazy about it, considering how much time was between the movie sequels.
Oh, yeah, the sequel came out far too late.
Yeah.
There was a period where a sequel to Sin City would have done gangbusters box office and been better received than the sequel inevitably was. The sequel kind of just landed and did
Sin
nothing.
City is like one of the best arguments for the actual comic creators to be involved in the filmmaking.
Sure.
Because it's just off the page.
Literally off the page.
Yeah.
Yeah. Visually and stylistically, they maintained it, and it was beautiful. I don't know. Well, I mean, I don't know what the budgets are going to be for that kind of show. I don't know what it's going to cost. I don't know what it costs to make a movie like Sin City, but I would imagine there's going to be some
probably gotten cheaper.
Probably
with advancements in technology.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still an effects heavy production, I would imagine. So I mean, that's going to cost some loot. I don't need.
It all depends on what channel it's on too.
That too.
Because if you're going to tell me like Sin City is coming to HBO, I'm going to be like, all right,
yeah,
kind of get behind that.
Yeah.
Anything else, I'm just going to be kind of like,
Showtime, something like that.
Yeah, Sin City has an edge to it that you need to incorporate.
Absolutely. Can I ask, is Frank Miller involved? I didn't see his name attached to too much there in the press releases.
I assumed he would be involved on some level because aside from like
he owns it,
his Batman stuff, he's very possessive of his work.
Because I tell you,
I would be surprised if he had no involvement whatsoever.
Does he have the capacity to be doing a weekly television show?
Another question.
And in his modern form, do we really want him involved?
Well, you and I
hate to be that guy.
You and I were talking in between events this past weekend how we have enjoyed as a story standing on its own, not connected to what it originally was born from, the Dark Knight Returns 3, The Master Race.
Enjoyed's a strong word. I'm pleasantly surprised.
Step up from where Miller has been in the past like decade or so, ever since Dark Knight Strikes Again.
But let's keep in mind that he has Brian Azzarello writing it.
That's true.
Like I don't know how it broke down, if like Miller just had a cocktail napkin and he threw to Azzarello when Azzarello's fleshing all this out. But my guess my big takeaway from Dark Knight 3 is I'm surprised it's as good as it is. Put it that way. Enjoy. Yeah, okay. It's not terrible.
Okay.
That's I mean that in the best way possible.
On a DC product, that is high praise.
It's got nothing to do with that. It's just for a Miller,
joint.
A Miller joint in 2017. It's not bad.
Yeah,
it's not bad
considering what we've had from him recently.
Yeah. Anyway, okay.
We had a man who gave us two of the best Batman stories of all time, give us two of the arguably worst Batman stories of all time.
Yeah.
And one that was apparently so bad, DC didn't even want to print it.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. So, all right.
Moving on.
We'll see. There's a little indie film that we mentioned earlier that came out this past week called Wonder Woman.
Oh, that little thing.
Apparently it's making some bank. Wonder Woman, to no one's surprise, did open up to big numbers at the box office, experiencing a lot of success. And again, because I really enjoyed the movie, I'm very happy about this.
Good.
And I think it is predicted to hold on to the number one spot this weekend, too, which is surprising because, we're kind of full-blown into the summer movie season where every week there's a big blockbuster coming out.
It doesn't feel that way at all.
I know.
It doesn't feel that way at all.
Probably because of our local weather lately has not been very summery.
Not even that. Like the summer movie. You just said it. And it didn't even register with me. Like, you're right. We are. It's June.
Yeah.
Where are these movies? Wonder Woman's the only one I can think of. What else has come out that's supposed to matter?
Guardians came out.
Well, Guardians. Yeah. But that already came out.
Guardians.
So like, what's
summer?
What's coming?
Well, typically in May,
it just feels
since the dawn of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Marvel gets that first weekend in May.
Yep.
And then everyone kind of steer clears in the next couple weeks.
Okay. All right. So we're in a little lull,
siphoning off their business, and then in June, last week of May, first week of June, it picks up again.
It's not going to make a ton of bank.
What's that?
Because I think Wonder Woman is going to beat it this weekend.
The Mummy.
Yeah. It's going to flop, right? Right. Does anybody care?
I kind of do, only because I like the idea of a Universal monster franchise cinematic universe.
But the Mummy, though. Have we seen this trailer? Is there anything there that make us go like, "Oh, I'm in"?
There's not like any moments like that, but they've got enough to get me in. I
Okay.
like Tom Cruise. I'm sorry. I like his movies.
All right.
I do.
Good luck with all that. Let me know how that is. I got a feeling it's not going to do anything. Wonder Woman is going to stomp it into the ground. I have a
think
feeling.
Wonder Woman will beat it. I don't think it's going to stomp into the ground.
I think it's going to surprise you. I think Wonder Woman is going to have a gangbuster second week based on the positive reaction of the first week. There's going to be some repeat business going on. And everyone that was on the fence is going to go, well, I'm going.
Yep. I just don't think Mummy's going to bomb.
I got a feeling it's going to bomb.
Should we make a little wager on this?
I don't bet, but
I'm not talking financial.
I don't do bets. Let's just... You
Because I was
think
thinking, like,
think it won't. I think it will. We'll leave it at that.
The color green for game nights for like a month. we could bet that.
I relinquish my green rights. Jen's just going to take them. She does that anyway. Fair enough. I'll relinquish green rights for a month.
If it comes in second place but doesn't bomb.
It can come in second place and still bomb. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, but I'm saying it can also come in second place and still make money.
If it I guess what I'm saying is if Wonder Woman like doubles it, then it bombed. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
Let's say $75 million.
For Mummy?
Yeah.
That's the threshold?
Yeah.
I'll take those out.
Okay. All right. If it breaks $75 million,
no green.
No green for you for a month.
Okay. Sold.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Moving on. I've said my piece.
Okay. So, little bit of news for you comedy
For me?
fans.
Oh, okay. Whew.
For you comedy fans out there. It was announced this week that at a big show up in Toronto, Bob and Doug McKenzie are going to reunite. Folks, Rick Moranis is coming back.
I'm okay with this.
I'm very okay with this.
I love Rick Moranis. How do you not love Rick Moranis?
Find me a movie you could not love that man in.
Yeah, he's great. He always was, and
Yeah.
I if he's coming back for this, I'm very happy about it.
And how many people in the Hollywood world are going to go through what he went through, and lose his wife, unfortunately, to cancer, and then say, you know what, I'm putting this prominent career, multi-million-dollar making career, I'm going to put it aside, focus on my family.
Yep.
How many people would do that?
It's commendable. I mean,
yeah. So that's pretty awesome. I hope this is the beginning of a resurgence, a comeback.
a renaissance. Thank you, sir. Just came to me now.
That was beautiful.
Let us hope.
Let us hope indeed.
I'm all in for the Renaissance.
Yes. So, all right. Last piece of news.
Yeah.
This just got announced today.
Uh-oh.
I'm of two minds on this.
Okay.
Or you could say two faces on this.
Oh boy. What's going on?
It was announced today that in the next issue of Batman 24,
okay.
Batman is going to propose to Catwoman. Bruce is going to propose to Selina that she marry him.
I mean,
you go ahead with your reaction on this.
I mean, listen to that.
That's a resounding endorsement.
I'm not as averse to it as you might think. They've been steering that way for a while with those two characters being a thing. They've, on again, off again, will they, won't they, that kind of, all that business.
Yeah.
Bruce is going to get married. Well, now you're kind of getting into some weird character motivations here because Bruce doesn't seem like the marrying type. But if he had to, I guess it makes perfect sense. I mean, and don't they have a kid in Earth 2 or whatever, Earth 3 or something like that, and all that business? And
it's been done in Elseworld stories. It's by no means a new concept, but is a big announcement for the main continuity of Batman.
Fair enough. It'll last a few months and they'll forget about it. I mean, yeah, sure. She knows who he is. She knows his lifestyle. He knows who she is. He knows her lifestyle. They understand each other. I mean, my gut reaction is like, oh boy, comics from the company that just had to get Superman and Wonder Woman together. Sorry, Lois. Was that a couple years ago they did that?
Yeah, that was for. You could argue it was one of the driving concepts behind New 52.
And we all rolled our eyes because it was dumb, because it's just that's born of a fanboy argument. Lois could never carry Superman's child. All that crap. Shut up.
Hey,
Lois
man,
is critical.
Don't do it that voice, because Brody, made that argument.
Dude,
Mallrats.
Brody Bruce is my spirit animal, but even that's a little pedantic for me.
Yeah.
So I just don't like seeing Lois get put on the back burner for all that business. But again, this is kind of this Batman Catwoman trip. Kind of like it reminds me of that, but it makes a little more sense, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't expect it to last long.
I mean, they fixed the whole Superman Lois Lane thing now with Rebirth.
They
back
did.
Together, they have a kid.
Right.
Superman's one of the best books I'm reading. Okay, so here's my take. I have two takes on it.
Okay.
I have opposing opinions. I can get behind either one. First opinion is that they shouldn't do it. It ruins the status quo of the character. And when you think about it, of all the characters that have undergone major changes to the status quo over the past 20 years or so,
Okay.
when you think about it, Batman is one of the ones that have undergone the least status quo changes. What major character-shaking status quo changes have we had with Batman the past 20 years?
Well,
we had the introduction of Damian and Batman Incorporated.
Damian.
And then before that...
Probably the biggest one.
Before that, it was probably Nightfall.
Which he got better. So, yeah.
He got better, and Damian is an accepted and appreciated
and before
member
that, I would
of
say...
the Bat family now.
Yeah, before that, Jason Todd dying.
Yeah, you're going back even further into
the
20s.
80s. Yeah. So, yeah.
So, Batman maintains his status quo.
By and large, yes.
This would shake up that status quo, so you can make the argument they won't do it. Here's the argument for it. And because I'm reading Batman, I know the origins of this. This kind of harkens back to what happened with the whole Button storyline, which was done very well.
Sure.
Because the only thing, I'm kind of find myself saying a lot, tell me a good story and I'll forgive some of your sins.
Okay.
The only thing of Watchmen that showed up in that storyline, besides the Button, was in the last page, last panel, you saw two blue fingers pick up the button, which are obviously Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah.
But it was a really well done story between the Batman and Flash books. And at one point, they go to the Flashpoint universe, and Batman meets his father, who is also Batman.
Because of course he is.
And, in that universe...
I know. Comics, everybody.
So... right as the Flashpoint existence is about to be erased, Batman's father says to him, don't be Batman. Live your life, find happiness for yourself. And as a parent, as someone, not only as a parent, but as someone who lost his father much sooner than he should have, I totally buy into that. I get that. Because that is what I know my father would say to me if he had the opportunity, and I think he'd be very proud of the life that I've built for myself. And if, God forbid, if I left my son early and I had an opportunity to say something like that to him, it would be live your life, find happiness. And that rocks Bruce to his core. And you can see how that would do that. So... In his mind, I think there's only two characters in the entire DC universe that Bruce could propose marriage to, and you could actually see it working. One is Selina, and the other is Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman?
Yeah.
Wow.
Just they did it beautifully in the Bruce Tim Baldini animated series, kind of toyed around with the relationship with those two, and I think they've hinted at it here and there in comics in the past.
Okay.
Because, like you said with what you said, Selina knows his lifestyle, is similar skill set and whatnot. Wonder Woman knows all that. It also has more of an ability to protect herself.
Yeah, true.
So those are the only two. So I can see it working from that angle. And again, tell me a good story and I'll forgive some of your sins. So I'm interested to see what they do. I don't think they'll actually make it to the altar.
No.
I don't think it's actually going to happen, but I'm interested to see where the story goes.
We will see.
Yeah.
I wouldn't anticipate it lasts very long. But
yeah.
Comics being comics, status quo being status quo, yeah, I wouldn't count on it. But maybe. But even if they do.
Yep.
Well, okay. So they're like a team now or something? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
The issue hasn't come out yet. So, yeah.
All right.
Cool. All right. A lot of fun there. News, listener questions, staples here at the Devil's Due. Right now, we're going to get into the heart of the show, which is where we break down and discuss an episode of Daredevil from the Netflix show. And then after that will be our segment with director and pop culture icon Kevin Smith.
Pop culture icon.
I think that's a fair title.
We'll see how we'll throw that at him in a tweet and see if he likes it.
All right, so whenever we break down an episode, we have notes on the episode that are written on pieces of paper that we rustle like so. Break out the notes. Let's get down to this episode of Daredevil, and oh boy, is this a good episode.
Yeah.
Episode 9, 7 Minutes in Heaven.
Well, let me put it this way. Based on the title and what we actually get, those are two very different things.
7 Minutes in Heaven
from
or
my
70
recollection.
Bodies in Heaven.
From my recollection of 7 Minutes in Heaven back in the day. Yeah, they didn't involve all this.
Yeah.
So after the last episode, we got the big bad cliffhanger with
Wilson Fisk.
Surprise! It's Wilson Fisk
coming back
in prison, and we all went, "Oh!" At least I did, because I didn't know he was going to be in the show at all.
I suspected.
I had no idea, and I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah,
kind of like Elektra. I didn't know. I avoided spoilers, and then I was like, "Oh, they're doing this."
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, we pick up basically not right there. We get a little flashback.
We get a flashback to the fall of the kingdom.
This is probably the longest pre-credit intro they've done on this show.
I believe so. I think it clocks in just under 15 minutes.
Yeah, you almost forget that opening credits haven't started yet.
Yeah. We get caught up on everything that happened to Wilson Fisk at the end of season 1 of Daredevil.
Basically, yes.
Gets delivered to prison. He is stripped of not only his physical possessions, but also, you can argue, his dignity in a lot of ways as well.
Watching the opening here, number one, just having D'Onofrio as Fisk back on the show, it's immediate. I'm immediately tuned in. I'm way tuned in, more so than usual. So it's it has that big fight feel, if you will.
Yep.
Big episode feel. And for that first 15 minutes, man, he is adapting as it is to prison life. And my God, man, he is broken.
Yeah.
He's a broken man.
Yeah, you can see it just in how he takes off the cufflinks.
Yeah.
And drops them into the little plastic bin.
And he sells it all on his face, though. You can see it on his face.
There's no dialogue from him.
Right.
It's just you see how close he came to achieving his ultimate plan, that it all just got ripped away from him.
Right. And now he's
utter defeat on his face.
And the guards are the one guard taps him on the head with the club, take your jacket off and all that crap, and newbies wear white and all this business.
And you can almost see the character regressing back to a childlike state.
Yes.
Because he ends up in that cell where he's staring at the wall that looks just like the painting from the first season, which looks just like the wall that his father made him stare at as punishment. And then we get introduced to the kingpin of the jail.
Mr. Dutton.
Dutton, played by wonderful character actor William Forsythe.
Yeah.
I can only think of one thing where he didn't play a bad guy, and that was The Rock. Played the FBI agent in The Rock.
I don't remember The Rock very well.
You should. Awesome movie.
I block out all the Michael Bay if I can.
Hey, there was a point that Michael Bay did great action films.
There's a brief period in the 90s.
Then he decided to do Transformers.
Yeah.
And made an enemy out of us.
Yes. Yeah. Don't. Yeah. Anyway. Boy, my note here on that, about that. But when he shows up and goes into the Kingpin cell, the Fisk cell, my note here is just like, oh, dude, don't mess with the Kingpin. Well, don't mess with Fisk.
Yeah, but at the time he's messing with Fisk, Fisk isn't, air finger quotes, Fisk.
No, but it just seems like a bad move.
I know. But
you're gonna have a bad time.
But at the same time, where Fisk is in that prison, he's in Dutton's kingdom now. He's
true.
Like Fisk has nothing. He has nothing in there.
He has nothing, and as we find out,
Dutton has everything.
Yeah, as we find out through the episode too, even outside of prison, Fisk's money is drying up to take care of Vanessa.
Yeah,
it's expensive to. The Fed seized all your assets. You are squirreling money away for your wife, and as we find out, you're also throwing money around to build yourself a little army in prison.
Yes. Oh, and folks, in case you haven't noticed, Drew is a dog person.
I am. I have several. If by several, I mean 4 of my own, and I foster. So don't mind them.
They always kind of chime in.
They're a show staple. Yeah, Fisk is building an army in prison, which also costs money. He's not taking that Dutton threat laying down. He's got a plan.
Yep. So, and we see the lawyer that we saw again in Luke Cage.
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh.
He was Cottonmouth's and Mariah's lawyer.
Look at that.
So
Good
I
eye.
would not be surprised to see this lawyer in some capacity in Defenders.
He's on the Marvel payroll now.
He's on the villain payroll.
Well, yeah.
All over the place. So yeah, Fisk is building his empire in prison.
Which leads us back to his meeting with Frank.
Yes.
Yeah. Credits. Well, opening credits.
Yeah. So it feels in this episode, because after the opening credits, we find Matt getting all patched up. And
Elektra's patching him up this time.
Yeah. Things are getting cleaned up in his apartment and whatnot. In this episode, I almost was like, every time they cut to Matt or Foggy,
You wanted to go back to prison?
I wanted to go back to prison. But it was weird because like the stuff with Karen in this episode is really good.
It's good stuff.
So I'm good with like the prison stuff and Karen stuff, but like it's not that I don't love Matt and Foggy. I just wanted to get back to one of those two storylines.
I feel where you're coming from, and you almost feel like they could have done a strictly Fisk Punisher episode.
Yeah.
And then come back to Matt later. But then, what's the show really about? Who's name's on the show and all that.
Yeah.
But,
I get you.
I'm not defending it. I'm just saying that's probably what they were thinking.
But also at the same time, all the like the Matt, Foggy, and Karen stuff was 15 minutes of the episode total.
Well, a little more than that, actually. Probably it's roughly half and half, believe it or not. But I know where you're coming from, but I would actually say there's some good stuff here with Matt and Foggy. Because at this point, Matt is... The whole Elektra thing's blowing up.
Yeah, Matt makes the tough choice to kind of say, no.
You can't change.
Yeah.
You don't. Not only can't you change. You tell me you want to, but I know that you can't.
Yeah.
You killed that kid, and you liked it, and that's who you are. And then Elektra comes to terms with that too. She even tells him, "I killed someone for the first time when I was 12, just to see if I could get away with it." And they weren't even like it wasn't revenge or in self-defense. She knows that's how she is too. So they finally kind of come to this realization, this détente, like you are who you are, I am who I am. We're done. We are incompatible. We might love each other or whatever, but we cannot be together.
Yeah. You're not good for me.
But in doing that, Matt also reaffirms to himself who he is.
Yes.
So when Foggy shows up, this is a great scene. When Foggy shows up at his apartment to discuss the firm, basically. Mm-hmm. He even says, "Who am I talking to now? Am I talking to Matt, my friend, or Matt the vigilante?"
Yeah,
and Matt has to tell
him. It's clearly Matt the vigilante because done. He says he's done apologizing for who he is.
At this point, I think Matt just says they're the same person.
Yeah,
that's it. I am who I am.
I agree with you. There's a lot of good stuff in the scene, but do you think because we had this whole Matt versus Foggy conflict in season 1?
Yeah.
Do you think they're kind of dipping into the well once too often with this?
No, I don't think so. Because now, I don't know. It just feels like this is the real culmination.
Does it feel like now that maybe Foggy should have come to peace with who Matt is.
Well, here's the reason why. In the first season, it was more of a personal betrayal.
Yeah.
He lied to Foggy.
Yeah,
Foggy didn't. This time,
tell Foggy.
This time it's professional.
Okay, yeah. That's a good point.
In the first season, it hurt Foggy personally, but it didn't necessarily hurt him in the pocket. I'm not reducing it to money. You know what I'm saying. Yeah. This time, it's affecting their work, what they've built together. And Foggy's name gets dragged through the mud because they completely blow the Frank Castle trial.
Yeah.
As a result of Matt not being there.
And not only is Matt realizing who he is in this episode, Foggy is as well.
He totally.
Because he said to Karen,
himself,
like,
I deserve better.
I was at my best in that courtroom. I'm a good lawyer. I was at my best. We could have done this. It's Matt's fault.
Yes. And he even tells Matt, I deserve better than letting you blow this for me.
Yeah.
And Matt agrees with him.
Yeah.
Now, it's up for debate if Matt was just saying that because that's what Foggy wants to hear, and Matt is really gutted by this. But I feel like, no, this is the realization he's come to as well. Like, this is the way it is, and Foggy does deserve better. His friend deserves better than to be dragged down by everything Matt needs to do.
Yeah.
So, just going to embrace that old guilt blanket and push your friends away.
Yep. And then the phrase that, I'm going to say this because my wife will get a kick out of it. The phrase, taking a break, gets mentioned. For those of you who are big Friends fans, know what that phrase can or can. I know. Foggy suggests taking a break, and Matt doesn't disagree.
No, doesn't even hesitate.
Yeah.
Just go. And I have written here, man, it's like it's a breakup. And it's not just a professional breakup. This is like a breakup.
It's personal, and it's getting kind of messy.
Yeah. So it's sad, but honestly, that was all good to me. That was all good stuff. I want to be back in prison too, but that stuff delivered to me. The Karen stuff, to be honest, she's doing good work, but I was least invested in that stuff.
It's interesting to see the change in the character, how she's shifting from Karen Page, legal assistant, to Karen Page, reporter.
Yes,
which is
very assertive.
It's a really nice moment when she gets Ben's office, even though she finds the file. And for those of you who may be new to the show and are familiar with the character's history in the comics, we don't want to spoil anything for the fans who watch the show but don't read the comics, so we don't necessarily discuss a lot of Karen's past in the comics, but it's definitely alluded to that there's much more than has been disclosed in the show in that moment. But it's still a really nice moment that she gets Ben's office.
Yes. If spoilers for those who don't read the comics, Ben doesn't die in the comics.
No, Ben's alive and well.
There's a whole new layer of emotion in the show that is not in the comics.
Working for the Daily Bugle.
Yes, Spider-Man's newspaper.
I know.
Hey, now they're all one and the same again. Who knows?
Oh, really quick, real side note?
Yeah.
You know how we've been having kind of a running discussion about Homecoming?
Yes.
Julie said something last night after seeing a preview to Homecoming that fully encompasses all my worries about Homecoming.
Go on.
For those of you who don't know, Spider-Man is my all-time favorite character. Love Daredevil. Love doing the show. Yeah. Spider-Man is my all-time favorite character. She said, I'm excited to see Spider-Man Homecoming because Iron Man's in it.
Well,
that is a legitimate concern that I have. She's excited, and that's great. But that's one of the things that's got me kind of worried about the film. Is it going to be Iron Man 3.5?
No, it won't be.
I hope not.
It's not going to be that. You know how in the 90s...
wow, dude! If you're going to the 90s to make your argument,
kids, let me take you back to a magical time called the 90s. Remember when Spider-Man? It was kind of magical. Remember when Spider-Man or the Punisher or Wolverine were on every single comic book cover because they were so hot they had to guess them in every book, but really it just boiled down to them showing up like in a page of someone else's comic. That's this.
I'm hoping
Iron Man's going to be in there for like 10, 15 minutes. And then he's gone. This is Spider-Man. This is Spider-Man's movie, dude.
I'm hoping.
Sony, for some reason, feels like they got
a Spider-Man I know and love and want
You're not going to get married Spidey, dude. It's not happening.
Made my peace with that.
It's never going to happen. Marvel Corporate has decided Spider-Man is a swinging kid getting the babes and stuff. I don't know.
I have enjoyed the little promos they've done for the NBA Finals.
I haven't seen them.
They're really funny.
Okay. The kid is so good, dude.
There's no
good.
I'm not saying he's not good.
No way it's going to be bad.
There's
no
good.
way.
I'm not even saying it's going to be bad. I'm just saying that, I want my mid-20s.
You want teacher married Spider-Man.
Yes.
Yes, I understand. I know.
Spider-Man I grew up with. Spider-Man I know and love.
I understand.
You've never had this problem with any of your key characters.
No, I guess I haven't. Yet. It'll happen.
How ticked off would you be if they, Marvel kept regressing Cap back to super soldier serum Steve Rogers? Huh? What if Mac could see?
Oh, God.
Yeah. See, that's kind of... All right. Back to the business at hand.
Fair enough.
Back to the business at hand. The stuff with Karen's good. Talked about the discussion between Matt and Foggy. Let's go back to prison.
So, in prison, we've got Fisk, who, he's amassing his army. He meets with Frank. He makes Frank basically an offer. Oh, what's this here?
Mr. Alan Wayers just sent us a link that apparently Luke Cage Season 2 starts filming today.
Look at that. Topical.
Awesome.
Topical. So, Fisk tells Frank, your family, tragic. Did you know?
By the way,
there's this guy here in prison that might know a thing or two about that.
Yeah.
Let's make a deal.
And he's not lying.
No, he's not.
You can clearly tell that he's working Frank, but at the same time, he's not lying.
No, but Frank doesn't want anything to do with it at first.
Yeah.
But Fisk kind of tells him, you're not going to stop doing this.
Yeah.
So do me a favor. Basically, satisfy yourself. Get your family a little justice. Do your thing. He plays not for nothing. He kind of plays to Frank's inner monster, if you will.
Yeah, and I think my favorite line from Fisk in this entire episode is, I play the long game.
Yes.
When Frank's confused as to why he's doing this, I play the long game.
Yeah.
I'm looking 6-7 moves down the road.
When I get out of here, I'm not looking to wage war. I'm looking to win one.
Yes.
I like that line. That's a good line. So he gives Frank the shiv and says, you have a 7-minute window to get into this dude's cell block. The guards will help you, by the way, because Fisk has them on the payroll.
Yep. And
do me a solid. Which he does.
Yes. Let's skip ahead. Okay, Frank talks to Dutton, gets the information he needs. Stabby.
Well, before he talks to Dutton, he does kill a guy.
Well, he kills Bob Lagoon.
Slits his throat in grotesque fashion.
Yeah.
Dutton tells Frank, oh, by the way, undercover cops.
It was a sting.
Which
Karen also finds out.
From
the medical examiner.
That's correct. So Frank is now none too pleased with the information. Guts Dutton.
Yep.
And he's leaving. I'm leaving the cell. Hey, let me out. And the guards go, yeah, no.
And we have the rare mistake by Fisk.
Severely underestimating what he's gotten involved in. But because basically, it's a trap.
Yep.
And Frank doesn't take kindly to traps.
No. We've got ourselves another hallway fight.
Capital letters. Hallway fight right there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Every time you think these shows have reached a limit as far as violence and what they're willing to show, when you think you're not going to see anything worse than brains being spilled out of a head after being crushed in a car door.
Frank shot a guy in the face with a shotgun this season.
You give Frank a shiv and turn him loose in an all-you-can-eat buffet.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see here. He stabbed. They show him impale a guy.
Stabby.
With like a broom handle shiv. Vicious beatings. More stabbings. More throat slashings. I think he shivved a guy through the head.
There was more stabbing in this than there was in the entire game of Russian Attack. Yeah, I went there.
He put his thumb in a dude's eye.
Yep.
Oh, God. And then when that guy got on top of him and he slit his throat, little details, man, but it was they knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
He slits the dude's throat, the guy's gurgling blood, and his face lands on Frank's chest.
Yep.
And then Frank gets up, and Frank is, mind you, covered in blood.
Yeah.
But the skull.
You actually don't see the skull till later.
On the chest?
Yeah.
Oh, I saw it right away.
I was looking for it there. They don't have it there right when he stands up. When they're dragging him.
No, it's there.
I'm going to have to go back and
watch it. Because as soon as he pulls the dude off of him and he's laying on the ground, it's like, oh, look what they're doing. Then he stands up, and it's like, oh, my God, look at that. They throw the gas grenade in, and I'm just like, oh, my God, dude, it's the freaking Punisher. It's the Punisher.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so good.
That was crazy.
It's so good.
Then Fisk, gets alone in a room with Castle, and fists are thrown.
Yeah, now here's what's surprising. Fisk wanted him dead.
Yeah.
Just kill him! You got him in chains!
Fisk adjusts very quickly.
Apparently.
And understands that he underestimated Frank, but Frank can still be used to further his goal.
Yes, again, waged the war so I can win.
He's appealing to the nature of the lion.
Yeah.
He's like, there's a whole bunch of gazelles out there.
Go hunt, kid.
Go do your thing.
Yeah.
And for Frank is like, okay, fine. When you get out, you're going to be on the list too.
Yeah. And Fisk accepts that.
Yeah.
And Frank is out of jail.
Yep. And has a ride waiting for him.
He does. And a tactical vest and stuff. And some pretty boss rank gear. Yeah. Okay. Fisk decides to stay in jail. But again, he's playing the long game.
Yes. Plays the long game. Consolidates. Because like the lawyer said, he's running out of funds. He's running out of money. So he's probably building his empire from within jail so that when he gets out, he doesn't have to rely on his old funds. He has ways.
He's got a whole new whole new network of connections he didn't have before.
Yeah.
New funds, new money, new army.
It's like he learns to be a criminal in jail. Whereas he goes in, he's like he's a criminal, but he's more of like, white collar criminal.
Now he's got his hands dirty.
Now you're combining that knowledge with, gritty street level crime knowledge. Now you're making a real dangerous character.
Yeah. It's going to be great.
Yeah. Yeah.
But meanwhile,
Matt's
back to hitting the streets.
Yes. He tracks down the accountant for the hand.
Yes.
And now let me ask you, when you first saw this,
go on.
And the accountant says his son's name is Danny. Were you thinking it might have been Danny Rand?
No.
Okay.
No, because
I thought I was like, maybe?
No, because Danny Rand's parents are dead and all that business,
I know.
But, okay, the hand's got his kid, so, Matt's, I saw the ledger, I know what are they planning? It's like, they're not planning, they're doing it. Okay, what are they doing?
Yeah.
They call it the farm. Take me to the farm.
Yep.
Okay, let's go to the farm, shall we?
Old McMaddy had a farm. And on that farm, he had some kids in cages getting their blood siphoned from them, being filled into a big casket-looking thing. The show stepped up a couple notches in this episode.
It's a little grotesque.
It's just macabre.
Yeah. It got dark. Who saw that coming?
Not Matt.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I had to. You put the layup there.
Oh my God! But you know who did see it coming? Lou Ferrigno.
Didn't hear it coming though.
No.
Don't tell me Lou Ferrigno can't beat up Flash Gordon, because he can't. Because Flash Gordon's savior of the universe.
What a story that is, man!
That's insane. That's hysterical.
He's such a jerk. By all accounts, he's a jerk. Anyway, I don't know the man. What am I saying? But yeah, the gore factor and the twisted. That's just twisted, dude. They're like bleeding people into a big vat. It's weird.
Just the sound that the blood is making. I'm just like, it gives me chills every time.
It reminds me of the Seinfeld episode where Kramer is storing all of his blood at a blood bank, but he can't pay his bill, so he has to pull it out of the blood bank, and he starts putting it in Jerry's freezer or something like that. So he's got this whole big thing of tomato juice. You ever seen this episode before?
No, I never watched
fantastic.
Seinfeld.
So Jerry's like, oh my God, where's the blood? I can feel it in the house. There's this big jar of tomato juice on the counter. It's like, this is the blood, isn't it? It's tomato juice. What's the matter with you? You're sick. You're sick. Oh, that's great. Anyway, the blood.
Yeah,
I just see Jerry Seinfeld's face when I say that. The blood. Old friend comes back.
Old pal comes a calling. We have the return of Nobu.
Nobu is back.
I would love them to put Nobu in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. They won't.
Can Daredevil be in it first?
That's fair.
Nobu.
Yeah.
Looking pretty good for a dead guy.
And, I mean, he's a little crispy. He's a little well done.
Yeah.
But we get another, really great fight scene, and Matt is just as confused as the next person, because Matt's taken off his guard by what he's experiencing around him.
Sure.
In what's going on in the farm, but then Nobu showing up just completely throws him off his axis.
Yes. And as a result, Nobu gets the better of him again.
Yes.
Although, for whatever reason, convenience, I don't know what, Nobu lets him live this time.
I think the more important thing than killing Matt is protecting whatever is
the casket.
The casket that looks oddly like the jars you would break from Ghost and Goblins to get items. Am I the only one that thinks that?
I don't know. I don't recall, but it looks like a big egg to me.
Yeah. Oh, just skipping back a little bit, when Matt is interrogating the one executive guy when he gets to the farm.
Oh yeah.
The guy who's on the phone. Did you catch the name that he calls Matt?
No.
You will find nothing here, Akuma.
Oh.
Which is a Japanese word for demon.
Oh, well, look at that.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, we called him Akuma. Akuma's in Street Fighter and Tekken 7.
All the cross-pollination.
So much. So.
Can I get Matt in a Bullet Club t-shirt? That's what I want to know.
No.
Damn it.
But you can get Akuma in a Bullet Club t-shirt.
It's close enough. I'll take it. Akuma,
known for his t-shirt.
Oh, yeah. You know.
So, yeah.
Well, keep in mind, Matt does ask, as Nobu is escaping, I thought you were dead. And Nobu says,
no such thing.
No such thing. What are these guys up to?
We are stepping up a couple notches.
Yeah, basically your gritty street-level show is officially taken a real wacky turn.
Yes.
So, some people might be turned off by that, but to me, this is like
this
is what's
from the stories,
from the comics,
from the
man.
Books.
And I'm all in because this
doing it great.
Yep.
God, I think this is the most I've enjoyed this season. This is my third time going through this season. Maybe it's because Iron Fist was so lackluster.
Cleansing the palate.
Yeah. As much as I hate to say that, because damn, I want Iron Fist to be good. It just wasn't.
Yeah, this is my second time watching it, and it's great. Yeah. It's just great. This show is so awesome, dude. I'm like, it's everything. It's everything.
The rest of it's just going to get better.
It's everything I could have ever wanted in a Daredevil television show. Yep. So it as a fan, it's hitting me in all the right ways.
All right. Normally, this is where we wrap the show up, folks. But as mentioned previously, we have a special guest in a way for the show this week.
Want to tell the story?
We're going to tell the story. So it was Saturday night,
June 3rd.
June 3rd. We did the Buffalo Bison Star Wars night. Hey, you said it right this time. That you're going to hear about in a bonus episode coming out later this week. And then we couldn't stay for the baseball game because we had tickets to see Kevin Smith at Helium Comedy Club. So, and it was an evening with Kevin Smith, which is traditionally he will come out, talk a little bit, and then open it up for a Q&A. Now, if you're a fan of Kevin Smith or ever been to one of these things, you know if you're fortunate enough to get to ask a question, you get your money's worth of an answer.
And how?
Kevin Smith can spin a yarn. And granted, it's a yarn we all enjoy, but he, like, at one point there were people like 4 and 5 deep in the line. I'm like, what are you doing? You're not going to get to ask a question because, like, he gives, like, long answers, and they're good answers. We enjoy them. But so knowing that, and this is the second time we had seen him in Helium, so we knew what the format was. We knew how things were going to go.
You were prepared.
I was prepared. I was like, we are going to try and get him on the show.
Come hell or high water.
Come hell or high water, because it would be huge for our show to get him on. So as he started, we were in the far back of the room. It's not a huge room.
No.
We were in like the last row. As he started mentioning that they were going to open it up for Q&A.
You booked.
I was out of my chair. And then he pointed out where the microphones are.
You made a beeline.
I was not completely on like the Flash. Maybe not in body shape, because I tend to be in the fat fraternity. But there was a red blur from my seat to where the first microphone was, because I knew I had to get in there first, which I did. And he pointed me to give me the first question, and I asked him a 2-part question. I asked him, what advice do you have for a podcast to get its word out beyond social media, which is what we do? And then I asked him, like, I can't not ask you this. I don't want this show to be a giant issue of what if. Would you mind terribly doing a couple questions for our show after you are done with this? He graciously said, okay, won't be able to do something after the show, but I'll tell you what, we will close out the show with you guys. So extremely gracious, and we are extremely thankful to him that he was true to his word, and he remembered. Like, I was worried that he wasn't going to remember.
Yeah, because the man does imbibe a lot of substances.
He's a traveler of the green. But also, he just goes on so many different directions when he's telling a story.
Yeah.
Thank you very much to the last person who asked a question before us, because he reminded him. Big
thanks.
And we tried to find you after the show. We couldn't. By all means, drop us a line, something, so we can thank you properly. But he reminded Kevin, and Kevin remembered, and Kevin brought us up to, we each got one question, and we were able to record it.
Yep.
And that's what you're going to hear now. The only thing I want to preface this with is we try to be a family friendly show.
We do.
We try to be, and much to Drew's chagrin, we have found that this has benefited us.
Amazingly, yes. In my previous podcasting experience where I let everything fly, this was an adjustment for me, but I've adjusted well.
You have adjusted well, and I don't express enough how much I appreciate that you've adjusted. No, I'm being serious. How much I appreciate that you rein it in and buy into the philosophy of being a family-friendly show so we can attract younger listeners and introduce them to the world of comics as well. So
Having said that,
this next segment is not family friendly.
No.
I was not about to ask Kevin Smith, who was just doing it like on stage and whatnot. We had no prep going.
He's doing us a solid. I'm not going to put rules on him.
I'm not going to put, say, oh, by the way, would you mind not swearing?
Right.
So keep in mind, this segment is not necessarily family friendly. There is language and content. If you have small children, you probably don't want them to hear.
Yes. But, if you are of age, I think I'm so stoked about this. I've been a huge Kevin Smith fan for many, many years. And to get to ask him a question, to get to speak to him directly was pretty huge. And I think his answers, as you will see, are very lengthy and thought out. And, well, I'm not going to babble on. No pun intended.
What you did there.
Just we'll let you hear it.
Yeah.
Now.
Okay, here's our segment with Kevin Smith.
What'd you come up with?
Hi, Kev. So, as a Daredevil show, my question for you, being a Daredevil writer, you came up with a Daredevil Bullseye issue, The Target, and I loved it. But unfortunately, it never saw completion.
I never finished it.
I know.
There's a finished book 2 in a desk at Marvel that's not drawn by Glenn Fabry. It's drawn by one of the Kuberts, either Adam or Andy Kubert. Fully done. Dialogues as well. And then there's half of an issue 3, and it's still sitting there. And every time I see Joe Quesada, he's just like, when are you going to finish that book? And I'm like, one day, man. I'm absolutely going to finish it. But sometimes for me, it's nice to leave breadcrumbs because it gives you a reason to live. You know, like, well, I can't die until I finish Daredevil. So it's for that, it's me. Nobody's sitting there going like, we're waiting for the end of your fucking story. Like, the beautiful thing about comics is if you don't like this week's selection, wait a week, here comes more. So there's plenty of stuff for other people to read. Nobody banging down the door. But at the same time, I will get back to it. And when I do, it'll be very different. Like, it'll be weird to go from issue 1 and 2 and 2.5 or 3 to what it will become. Same thing is going to happen with the Batman book. Me and Walter did 2 Batman miniseries, Walter Flanagan. First was fucking Batman, what was it? Cacophony. Batman Cacophony, Batman the Whiting Tower, and the third one is Batman Bellicosity. And we got busy making comic book men, so we never got back to Batman Bellicosity. But there's 3 issues of that fully drawn, you know, and waiting to go. And in the time that we stopped doing it, the DC Universe has changed completely. So the story is changing completely. So recently I saw Walter, and I was like, they want us to finish the book. After 5-6 years, they're asking us about the book. And he goes, well, what do you want to do? Because the idea of it is like Batman Bellicosity is war in the DC Universe. And I was like, I don't know, it seemed that what we were talking about is too big and shit. He's like, well, why don't you do what you love best? He's going, what's better than fucking the devil in comics? Let's send Batman to hell. And I was like, oh, that's so fucking metal. So I know we'll get to that, Batman Bellicosity first, before I'll ever get to Daredevil Target, but I will finish.
Then I guess I won't ask how it ends.
He wins.
Again, we appreciate you doing this, being on The Devil's Due. Geek culture is in a golden age, easy to say. Right now, there's just so much available in geek culture. I can go online and find a t-shirt of Adam West as Batman in surfer shorts with a surfboard. It's all out there. Another question we have is, where do we go from here? What's the next plateau for geek culture? What do you see on the horizon?
What do you mean plateau?
Like, where do you think geek culture can go next? Like, it's so widely accepted now, and
I look at it like this. When I was a kid, everyone loved sports and athletics, baseball, football, and shit like that. It's very tribal. It's like, I'm wearing my colors. This is my fucking team. I like this team. Fuck your team and shit like that. It's the same thing in comics. It's like, I like Batman. Fuck the Joker. Or I like Marvel. Fuck DC and shit. It gets very tribal. So I always thought when I was a kid, I was like, well, what's the difference between being a sports fan and being a comic book fan? Like, at the end of the day, what are sports? Like, it's a competition between 2 teams, and they're wearing very colorful costumes and sometimes masks. That's exactly what I fucking read about all the time. So, you know, I used to wonder, like, is there a bubble? But no, it's just, we've arrived. Geek culture has arrived. Pop culture is the dominant culture now. And that means if you're fluent in that, it's your time. And that won't end. It'll just kind of get larger and get less interesting for people that used to love knowing tiny bits of trivia that now belong to everybody and stuff like that. But I don't think it's going to go anywhere and stuff, but I think it's been legitimized. It's crazy. Now they realize once people realize you can make a lot of money from this shit, suddenly you're legitimized. Just like years ago, they realized with sports, you can make a lot of money from this shit. Now they feel the same way about comic books and comic book culture and geek culture. It's a great time to be a creator. If you're somebody that likes to create shit, oh my God, they're looking for you. And I promise you, this isn't just me fucking polishing your knob. They are literally looking for you. Like, they've heard and told all the stories there are to tell. The only stories they haven't told yet are the ones you have to tell. And I guarantee you can tell stories that somebody else hasn't thus far. A lot of people think like, oh, Hollywood, it's all sequels and remakes. They make the same shit over and over again. They do. Financially, it makes a lot of sense. But I promise you, if you walk in and you were to tell them like a good idea, something that nobody's ever seen before, they would fucking merchandise it. They would market it. They would make it. They're looking for that. That's the dream, original material. But it ain't going to come from me. You just heard me. I'm like, I'm making Jay and Silent Bob reboot. It's literally the same fucking pissing away my chances, but fucking you could go in there, anyone in this room could go in there and fucking change the game by being like, the movie they haven't seen yet? This. And it's the movie that'll come from your fucking life. Because everyone in this room is a content generator. Everybody in this room has lived a vastly entertaining life that they can tell fucking stories about. You've all gone on adventures. Think of the entire spectrum of your fucking life. The time you almost died, the time you almost got laid, the time you did get laid and wished you didn't, And then those are banal things. Then there's like deep family drama stuff of like, I didn't know I had a brother and fucking weird shit like that. People are fascinating. And everybody has a story to tell and stuff. That's why I always like to encourage people, like, fucking, if you like this, if you like watching me stand up here and talk about myself, guess what? You could do this. This is fucking easy. And you know this as podcasters. Who's more interesting than you? You two dudes had the same thought that I had at one point, which is the same thought everybody in this room has probably had. You've watched a TV show or you've listened to the radio, and sooner or later in your life, you've had this thought. You've listened to somebody talk, and you've said, I'm smarter than that person. I'm funnier than that person. You're probably thinking it right now. And you're absolutely right, but you got to tell people. You can't just kind of keep it to yourself. You got to share it, man. These two dudes record a podcast. That's called sharing and shit. And oddly enough, they talk about Daredevil. And some people in the room are like, I don't give a fuck about Daredevil. But I promise you, this is a true story. How many episodes have you done?
43.
One day, if you haven't met him yet, you're going to meet somebody who's like, let me tell you how important your show is to me. You guys said something once that got me through the worst thing in my life. And they'll tell you this impossibly dramatic story about some stupid shit you said about Daredevil changed your life. Because that's how human beings are built. Podcasts are fucking free, so you don't have to pay for that. You just listen to a bunch of different thoughts from people from around the world and stuff. And you never know where a good piece of advice or a learning lesson is going to come from. So I always encourage people to fucking share. Like, I always point to podcasting because you got a phone, you got a podcast network right there. You can talk about anything you want, sit down with a friend, sit down by yourself, just fucking talk, share, whatever. Don't have to be a podcast, make a movie. I did, it worked for me. The best piece of advice I can give you is make Clerks. That really works. You want to write a book? Fucking do it. You absolutely can. There's no gatekeeper for these things. If you want to get paid for these things, yeah, there's a gatekeeper. But if you want to do these things, you can. I guarantee you want to do them. If you're sitting here watching me do this shit, there's a part of you that's drawn to this kind of shit. Like where you're like, I'd like to do that. I'd like to sit around and talk about myself and stuff. It's fun. It's easy. It doesn't take any talent. That's the thing. A lot of people won't try some shit because they're like, oh, that takes talent. Fuck you. There's no such thing as talent. You know what talent is? Talent is not standing up here and talking about myself. That's not talent. You see this room? See how there are no beams in the middle of the room and yet the ceiling does not crash in on us? Whoever built this room is fucking talented. But it ain't talent to be like, I came up with a story where this happens and blah, blah, blah. It ain't talent to fucking sit down and record a podcast where you talk about other people's work. I do it all the fucking time. It ain't talent to stand up on a stage and tell stories about your life. That's easy. It happened to me. That's me just relating facts. It doesn't take talent for me to stand on a movie set with a backwards baseball cap and a trench coat and say nothing. That's the absolute absence of fucking talent. Don't let people fucking tell you things take talent and shit. Like, it's just fucking like, don't take talent to stand on a movie set and be like, I'm Batman. Ben Affleck does it, so I know it doesn't. Don't ever for a second, like, let yourself go like, I ain't talented. Fuck you. Of course you're talented. You're a god. There's a fucking poster in my house that I've passed for years. It's a dopey yoga fucking thing that my wife had hung up. And, there he is, the Buddha, just sitting there in a position. And there's some fucking writing on it, Sanskrit-y looking writing, that I never really paid much attention to about 5 years ago. And one day I was fucking waiting for the dogs to take a shit, so I had enough time to stare at it. And I looked at it and I saw what it said. And it said, may you realize your divinity in this lifetime. And I sat there thinking about that, probably because I was baked. And I was like, oh my God, I understand it. I understand this now completely. Like, yeah, we fucking put others ahead of ourselves. We even put people we'll never meet, invisible beings, in charge of our lives and stuff. But, may you realize your divinity in this lifetime. May you realize how fucking special and gifted you are. May you realize that you could fucking do the things that you're whimsy about, that you sit there going, that seems fun, I'd like to try it, but probably won't work out. Fuck you, how do you know? Like, if you're going to be creative, and that's a creative answer. If you dream about doing something and then that other voice pops up and says, yeah, you can't do that. That's for somebody else. It wouldn't work if you fucking try it, man. Don't do that. You're going to embarrass yourself and shit. You will become the world's most fucking fascinating, intricate, and gifted writer when it comes to talking yourself down or talking yourself out of shit. And I always like to tell people, like, in that moment, which is inevitable because we're human beings, the only creatures on the planet inflicted with fucking self-awareness and self-doubt. But if you have that fucking moment and you're going to just make up some shit about some future that will never happen for you and how it couldn't happen for you, I just suggest if you're going to make shit up, flip the script and just make up a different version of that story where you're like, imagine I did it and everything changed. Because that happened to me. It insults me personally when people are just like, oh, that happens to some people. I'm like, fuck you, it happened to me. The only difference is one day I was like, I think I want to try something, and I stepped toward it. It will never come to your house. Nobody will ever show up at your house and be like, do you want the perfect life? Here, you just have to step toward it, shit. And I'm not saying the perfect life is making podcasts or making movies or something, but there is something in you that you fucking think about, that you dream about. Even though we're all adults and shit, we got responsibilities and have to take care of people and loved ones and whatnot. We were all kids once and we all dreamed about some different world. And not like different maybe than what we have, but we just had whimsies. We had time enough to be like, I'd like to do this one day. And then you get older and you start putting that shit away for no good reason other than like, well, I got other shit to do. But, what's the point if you're not dreaming? Like, it gives you something to reach for, A lot of people try to climb a ladder, and I understand that, I guess, but I'd rather try to climb a dream ladder. I just like create a new dream. Let's go for that. Let's go for that. Because I don't want to leave this world going, fuck, I wish I'd have tried that shit. Like, I want to be in my box when I'm fucking dying on my deathbed being like, can't believe I made that Walrus movie. So, like, I always like to remind people, like, if you like this shit, you can do this shit. This is easy. I'm talking about yourself is easy. And sharing of yourself is a positive thing. People learn things. Number one, they can be entertained. It's a free fucking hour of podcasting and stuff. But number two, maybe they walk away with some information. Maybe they walk away with a bit of a changed life or something like that. So I applaud you for doing the podcast, but everybody else in this room, there's something that you think about. There's something that you whimsy about. And you're like, I'd like to try that. And I guarantee you can do it. I guarantee you can fucking do it, man. Except if you're like, I'm going to jump off this building and fly. I'm like, you can't do that, don't try. I hate to be a downer, but that won't work. But the other shit, man, that shit's easy. But you just got to step outside the box. Like, don't worry about what people are going to say and shit. Some people get afraid of failure. I understand that. I'm from New Jersey. We live in the shadow of New York at all times. We're constantly reminded what a failure we are. And so, if you got a fear of failure, that'll keep you out of doing a lot of shit. But don't be afraid of failure. Like, nobody gets it right on the first try. And whatever that thing is, whatever it is that you whimsy about or dream about doing, nobody's ever gotten that right on the first fucking try. Nobody. It's impossible. It doesn't happen. Maybe once in a while. You're Wayne Gretzky, get it right on the first try. But that doesn't happen very often and shit like that. What happens is you try it again. That's the important part. Failure isn't failure unless you fucking never try it again. You try something, it doesn't work, and you're like, fuck, I was stupid for doing it. But if the very next day you try it again and it succeeds, that's no longer failure. That was just one lesson on the road to completion. Failure is just success training. I know that sounds like a cat roaster, but it's fucking true. So everybody in the room, man, I know you got something like me. I know you got a fucking Clerks or a fucking Tusk or some shit that you're like, I wonder if I can do that. I guarantee you can fucking do it, man. Just try it. Make a little time for yourself this year to try something. You take care of so many people in your life. You're responsible to so many people. You're allowed to not throw people under the bus, but build a little space for yourself to dream and fucking play. The craziest things happen when you're not thinking so much about the present and how difficult the future may be, and you just kind of kick back and be like, well, what if it was this? It's not a waste of time to win some amazing, amazing things when you come in front of it. I thank you all for coming out tonight, but I want to share one thing with you before we go, just because we went real serious at the end. I wear these hockey jerseys all the time, and people are always like, why? And I tell them, because a hockey jersey is a fat guy's moo-moo. I can gain and lose weight under this, you'll never fucking know. So on the hockey jerseys, like, I swap out the crests. I got a bunch of different crests and shit. Tonight I'm wearing this one, looks like the Blackhawks logo. But I got a Buddy crest that I've been wearing recently. And, you know, he's pointing and doing the thumbs up and shit. I was wearing it in Los Angeles, and I went to get gas, and I put my credit card in the gas machine, paid for it, and whipped it out like you're supposed to, but it snapped, and a piece broke off in the machine and shit. So I was like, oh my God, what the fuck am I going to do? And I thought about sucking it out of the machine. But TMZ would be like, what a scoop. So I went inside, and I was like, I'll ask the people behind the counter. Maybe they got a tweezer, I can get it out. So I go inside, and behind the counter is like a 65-year-old Asian woman. And she's certainly not what I would call my demographic. But she looks at me like she recognizes me. I recognize recognition. I'm like, oh my God, I think this woman recognizes me. She's looking at me like this, wide-eyed. And I come up to her, I'm like, hi, and she goes, that's Jesus. And she didn't recognize me, she recognized Jesus on my chest. And I said, oh, I said, yeah, allegedly, you know. And she goes, no, that's not allegedly, that looks just like Jesus, the hair, everything. I said, yeah, the artist really nailed him. Which is cute, I wasn't way proud of it, but it felt like a mom joke you can make with your mom. But the lady goes like this, she goes, oh, you're going to hell. I didn't go to hell, I came to heaven, it was Buffalo. Thank you for having me.
All right, Drew, that just happened. We just had Kevin Smith on our show.
We spoke to Kevin Smith, and he gave us answers.
Yes.
They didn't necessarily answer our questions verbatim.
Didn't answer your question.
Well,
I knew he wasn't gonna, and I warned you he wasn't gonna.
Hey, man, I had to try. This. It's been over a decade since that thing came out. Like, I gotta know what's gonna happen here. Is it ever gonna end? I was actually shocked that he said that he plans on finishing it, because I would be shocked if Marvel lets him.
I'm sure Marvel will let him.
I hope so. I hope so.
So putting his name on a comic sells comics.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, that was that. That was great. Again, huge thank you to Kevin Smith. Very generous.
Very generous, and I hope you got something out of his answers. By the way, like, he's not wrong. Put something out into the world, man. Like, we do this show. You kind of dragged me into this show, not for nothing, because I kind of was done with podcasts, doing myself, and you brought me back in, and doing this is great, and I'm glad you did, because I enjoy it. And if you've got something you want to do, folks, take Kev's advice and do it. Put something into the world.
Yes.
Worst thing that can happen is, you do it and you enjoy it, and it might not, necessarily go somewhere, but if you do it and you enjoy it, it might go somewhere. People might pick up on it and check it out. So make your voice heard. Do stuff.
Mm-hmm. So, folks, again, if you're a new listener to the show, welcome. We hope you enjoyed the show. We hope you come back. This is something we say kind of every week. We have never meant it more than this episode. This episode is a huge opportunity for the show. So please spread the word on this episode. Retweet our new episode announcements. Share them. We're going to tag Kevin Smith in them. Hopefully he will retweet it. That would be worth its weight in gold. We want this show to grow. We want it to grow into something that not only we can be proud of, we are proud of the show, but something ultimately Buffalo can be proud of. We like to introduce ourselves as Buffalo's own, devils do. So please, this episode, huge. Please retweet, please share. You can find us at the following social media outlets. You can find us on Twitter at Devils Do Pod. You can go to facebook.com/devilsdopod. You can email us at thedevilsdopod@gmail.com, or you can find all these resources on thedevilsdopodcast.com, our website. Folks, please help us out here. Get the word out on the show, especially this episode. It's a real big opportunity for us. It's a simple thing. You just press a button on your phone screen, and that's it.
Subscribe, man. That's all you gotta do.
Subscribe. Write a review on iTunes if you can. We've been getting positive reviews there. Share our new episode announcements. I'm not even asking you to share all our statuses. Just share the new episode announcements. Get the word out there. It means so much to us. Thank you.
All right.
Anything else?
I feel like remember the episode of The Simpsons where Homer meets Mel Gibson?
No.
Okay. Well,
Homer meets so many.
Mel's pitching a movie he's doing a screening of his new movie, and he's over explaining the Hollywood guys, they haven't done the whole twinkle with my eye yet in post, and the lighting's not quite right, and Homer just says, Mel, you're coming off desperate.
Yeah.
It's okay. I feel you. I feel you, folks. We're grateful for all of you. So yeah, like Carl said, man, click subscribe, little 5-star rating, never hurt anybody. Tell your friends. If you hate us, tell an enemy. Spread the word, man, because we like doing this, and the more people listen, the more we'll like doing it. So There you go. And as you found out in the beginning of the show, if you write in and stuff, you can be on the show. So it's not a high bar to clear.
No.
So yeah, thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. We appreciate it. Court's adjourned.